Hello. Hi. How's it going? Hey, 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 hey. That's top. Front. Oh, that's me. Ooh. There we go. Okay. Hey. On the fritz. Okay. Hello. How's it going? Got a few things I was going to do today. Mostly just transform a V1 and put a V2 drum motor inside of it. All right. So this is like one of the upgrade paths, so you don't have to spend $800 or $793 or whatever it costs to get a V2. So yeah, so I'll show you kind of what the motor looks like, what's in the actual V2, and then what we're gonna put in, and how to hook it up to Arduino will be one of the biggest things. Hopefully it works. I don't know if it's gonna work. I just haven't really tried out the code yet, but we're gonna find out. But first, we'll take a look at the motor, right? So let me grab a V2. Let me back up a little bit. I'll back up the camera. Oh, I didn't anticipate this much room would be needed. Okay, let me pull back. Move some things around. I need to get a bigger work desk. All right. We'll take a peek at the V2 or Delta Roaster, or whatever you want to call it. It has so many names, so many different variations. Okay. So don't mind the mess. This is the back of a V2. Opened up, splayed out with all its guts and glory right there. So if we take a look at the motor, this is the new drum motor they put in. It's a worm drive drum motor, right? So fantastic, whatever. You know, for a while we were thinking they must have added some kind of driver into it or something. Actually, they didn't. The driver is built into the system, so you don't have to like install an ESC or anything like that. So that's a plus. Because if you look at the board, there's really no signs of anything like really change in terms of putting a motor driver in there. I was looking around, I didn't see anything. And then I came up to the listing for the motor, which you could see here. Oh, let me get to the window. That's not it. It's JG. Let me go to my history. Wrong. I'll give you the what's it called, the link to the motor that they use. It's actually like a $20 motor you could find online. It's pretty easy to get. Let me just sign into all my stuff. Come on. This is so janky. All right. So this is the motor in question. $19.40. Not terribly priced. Move this over here so I can see it better on my screen. All right, so yeah, if we scroll down, you can look up the hookup right here. So it kind of tells you pretty much like what lines to hook up to where. There's a, I think that's this one kind of can measure the RPM. The yellow line, the blue line is the PWM, pulse width modulation, that you can hook up to an Arduino and technically control. And then the white line is whether you want to switch it, counterclockwise or clockwise. So meaning that the driver is built in is basically what it is. So what that means to us is we don't have to do any kind of really expensive modifications. You would just really get the motor, and then you would hook up a few lines of code to the Sky command, and then you're all set to go. So let's see what that kind of looks like. Nope, that's my face. There we go. So I'm going to pull out a unit. We're going to take the back out, and then we'll put the motor in, and I'll show you what kind of stuff that you might need. All right. Okay. New unit. Well, not a new unit. This is another one of the return units. And we'll pull this out. This is new. Okay. I just pulled this one out. They literally didn't use it, which is wild. All right. So we'll go pull off the back. I'll kind of show you how you kind of access it and pull off the back real quick. So first thing I usually like to do, I'll just kind of just give a little tug on the wire to pull this part out. And then take all the screws out. I can't see the chat. Whatever. I'll pull all these ones out. I probably should check if it works. I mean, there's a reason why they returned it, right? So I should probably check if it works first before I try anything else. Let's grab a control unit or a little control panel. There's still beans in it. That lights up, fan goes on. Good. Turn it off. Oh, looks like it's working fine. Yep. Okay. All right. That looks good. I'm gonna pull that off. And always, even though as much as I hate these things, keep it. It does a good job of telling you what, like, there's error codes here. So E1 and E3 error codes show up on the temp side, and it's very important to kind of diagnose if you're having E1 issues, especially. E1 issues are like temperature probe issues or board issues. They're very common. Well, common for me because I always look out for people with error codes. E3 too. So we'll have the joy of installing all the code today and seeing if it actually works. I have no idea if it's going to work, but we're definitely going to try. And this is pretty much the code I updated. I put a little page up for it now in case somebody wants to try it out. I'll show you the window. So basically this section. I'll paste it in the chat too. So this is what I'm using for handle drum. I know Krulis is in here, so I'm trying to oh, and Cam's here too. I'll see if they can check out the code too. You are a pro coder at this point. You have to be better than me at coding, that's for sure. I'll never bash on vibe coding again because that's how this whole project really started. Oh, these two here. As you can tell, they put a lot of screws on here because of shit design. So they could have probably skipped a few of these screws, but I think they kind of used this many screws so it could form the back panel to the back of this machine. Oh, let me stop looking at that. So I pulled so put all these screws out. There's about 20 screws or something like that you got to pull off just to get to the back panel. Make sure to unplug it, which I just did right now because I'm being super safe. So I unplugged it. We'll move this back panel out the way. There we go. So I'm going to take out this part too. I don't really have to take it off, but I'm just going to so I have more access to the back. Oh, let me get a little scissor to take out this little. They always put like these little zip ties to hold these two wires together, but it just ends up. I always end up cutting them off. You can always re-zip tie them later, but I don't. There we go. There, see, this is our grand motor. Wah. Oh, the video's gone? Uh-oh, hold on. Let's see what's going on. Okay. I think the video's up. Okay. Just tell me whenever it goes back down. So here's the glorious motor that we all know and love. Very loud. But the plastic gear inside that likes to melt. And then if you do like 500 grams for about, I don't know, a roast, 1, 2, or 3 roasts a week at 500 grams, it eventually destroys itself. But there's some people that's been running this motor like to the death. So I always get surprised. We have a lot of people now that are, yeah, at least 3 people that say that they're started off their roasting business using a Skywalker as a production roaster. Yeah, Cam says it works fine. There's a guy that does like, as you know, who's starting off their like little roasting business with as a production roaster, and he's like complaining that these machines are little pieces of shit. I'm like, okay. I mean, they do its job. I always find that hilarious. Definitely getting your money's worth. All right, so we took the motor out. I'm just gonna pull this whole thing off of the board. So the thing I like about the newer V1s is you can just pull the board out by the heatsink, and it usually comes out pretty easily. Just try not to be like me and snap it out of there. I've done that once. Yeah, I think just the V1 is just a good, like, not a production roaster, but it's definitely a good, like, home roaster that scales up pretty well, and you could do fun specialty coffee things to it. I said that it was easy to take out. Now I'm thinking I'm a liar. There he goes. So here's the drum motor. And I have a picture of where all these connectors go. So if you ever need to find that, it's on our SkyWiki webpage that I do a shareable job maintaining. So I took the motor out. Now we are going to add this new motor in. So let me break down all the pieces for you. All right. So tie that back in. All right. I'm switching to another camera. Okay. So here is the little plate that goes with it. So you need a plate, metal plate. I should have made this out of steel instead of aluminum, so it might be a little bit bendy, but stop that. No more tracking. There you go. So you'll need a plate, and then some screws to screw it into this motor. So this is the main motor. And then there's a guy who got one of these things, because it comes like in a 6mm shaft. So you have to buy one of these couplers. Then you put like 2 M3 screws in there, and you just kind of wedge it into the coupling thing. I'll show you what the coupler looks like. So if we zoom in, enhance. Nope, enhance. There we go. So this coupler will literally just go right into there. Okay, and that's how it is coupled now. So instead of jamming that big old motor in there, that just like a little shaft in there, I think it's supposed to be like a 7mm, 8mm double cut shaft that goes in there. He just came up with this thing, and it works just as well. Little I'll show you what the flange. I got the links to the flange. I'll put online later, but they're about like $1 or so. But they come from China, so it's gonna take a while. They might be $3 by the time we're all said and done. All right, so sorry, I'm still trying to get used to this new setup. So right now, I don't know what M3s these are. I bought a kit of M3s and I just put the ones that fit the best. And then you got like the M3 nut holding it in. And that's pretty much what just kind of helps rotate it. But you want it in far enough to where these M3 nuts will fit inside the little groove of the drum. So it really sticks in there and holds it in and rotates it well. Unless someone finds like the bigger diameter shaft ones, then that'll be like a lot easier to install. All right, let's go to the top. Let's bring this back. All right, so now, let me see if I can show you the original motor plate. It's actually a really simple design that they use. I don't know why I overcomplicated it and made all these like proper fittings and everything, when I could have just, what they did was just cut out a stainless steel circle. Where did they put it? I can't find it. We'll find out later. But so now I kind of put it together like this. Then you want to tighten that little set nut that's in there to make sure it holds in. There's usually 2. There's one on the back. I haven't put that one in, but I'll put it in later. And then you just install it. And if all goes well, it'll fit right in. So I'm just going to reuse the nuts, or the screws. I think these are M4s. I still haven't made it a mission to change all these Phillips screwdriver ones into hex. Enhance. All right. And the mounting plate you could find on our Discord. I put it somewhere on here if you guys want to like make one or print out a little guide to make one. It's on there somewhere. This one's not fully seated in. There we go. There, that fits better. There's also, I put it on YouTube too, so this is kind of streaming on YouTube. So because I want to save this and eventually edit it, and I don't know. Okay, and that is as centered as it's going to be for me. I got little holes in there so you could do a little bit of micro adjustments, but you just want to, I'll usually leave it loose, let it run for a bit, kind of correct itself, and then I'll tighten it in. But you'll see why I should have went with the steel plate. Also, don't forget to reinstall this one. That's your ground. This is the only thing that grounds the whole unit. Okay, so that's all put in. I won't cover up the back. I'm gonna hook this up to my Arduino. So I already uploaded the code to the unit. So I have this one. So this is not focused. So this is the ESP32 Arduino Nano. It's the fancy one. It still works the same. The code actually that I used was pretty much JMOR's, and I just uploaded it with the changes for it to PWM the motor. So we'll see if it works. I already uploaded the code here, so I'm just gonna hook up the motor and see how well this works. Okay. I think the most important thing with this is making sure that I hook up the ground wire that is on the motor up to the Arduino. Or yeah, to the Arduino board, making sure they all share the common ground. It does something with commands and whatnot. So I'm gonna pull up that window that has the hookup connections. Or that shows all the connections. All right, so blue is D6. Get a screwdriver. Get a proper screwdriver. Small Phillips, please. This will work. D6, and then so I'm gonna put the blue wire to D6. And then the white wire to D7. And then with this wire, I can adjust the direction. There's some roasters like that will go in reverse, so it spills out the beans a little bit better. The root base does that, the way that their drum is designed. But then if you have it on Arduino, you could do all sorts of fun things on your ending drum, like having it kind of just agitate itself all weird, throw the beans all around. I don't know, but I don't think being direction or the drum control in terms of direction is really too important. So hook up to the D6. Let me get to the front window. Oh, yes. God, gotta cut this wire even shorter. Oh, if you haven't signed up yet, there's still some slots for the V2 if you still want to get it. I think I got everyone who's already paid in. I just got to send them the money over to iTop. So I'll do that later, probably tonight. I'm just trying to confirm some addresses. I think there's like 10 or some more spots left. Or no, there should be like 8 now. Okay. So I'm going to put the ground onto the Arduino. All right. Put that right in here. And you can get both of this board and the breakout board and the Arduino off of Amazon. Okay. I got that in there, and I only just need to hook up the red one to the 24 volt. So I got to put it here somewhere. I'm gonna crimp a wire to it, or put a little crimp on it. Oh hell yes, yes. Never mind, not gonna do that. You can probably pre-crimp it later. I just got one of these set up for myself. This is just like a just a wire with some Wagos on it. Of course, I have this lying around, but good. That's black and black. So I'm just gonna connect the black one here. Here, and then I'll connect the motor red over here. Good. All right, so I think that's it. So now I'm just gonna see if it spins. Let me hook this up. Let me get Artisan running. Just waiting for Artisan to start. Please. I should have restarted my computer, but it's okay. Oh yeah, no problem. These group buys are interesting. A little bit different now. Come on. I don't want to restart. There it is. Please work. All right, so let me make sure I got Artisan Viewer. I'm gonna load the basic ski top setting, and then let's go to window mode. Will this work? All right. Oh shit, is that loud? Hold on, I'm gonna turn it down. Okay, well, turn it down. Can you hear me? Does that work? We're gonna use the Osmo Pocket camera or microphone for now. Oh, hold on. Let me change this to hello. There. Okay. Okay. Alright, it probably sounds like crap because I'm using the Osmo Pocket camera, but I think we could use that for now. Did it go away again? Hello? God damn it. Okay. Unmute? Mute? Turn it up a bit? Alright. Is that better? Too loud? Is it quiet now? Hello. Okay. Hopefully that works. Is it too loud now? It's the first time that happened. I gotta switch mics or something. Okay. Well, anywho, I feel like it's screaming on here because it's on OBS. It's like the gain is a little bit low. Maybe I turn it down a bit. All right. Well, we'll see if that works. So I'm gonna go back to Artisan. I'll have to just, I guess, do something. This thing is too high. Okay, I'm gonna turn the gain down. Is that better? Is that like I'm yelling? Still quite loud. Okay. Is that better? That's gonna sound like crap. I'll figure that out later. I'll just do a full voiceover for whatever I do next. But all right, I'm gonna connect it to Artisan now. Let's pray that it works. Oh boy, I think I just have way too many things connected to my little Lenovo laptop from 5 years ago. Oh, I need to plug it in. All right, I'm gonna plug this roaster in. That's burner. Okay, well it's turning. I should make a slider for it. It's turning the wrong way. Okay, well, motor's turning. Let me see if that's controllable. Let me switch to. So I got it kind of working. I think I just got to fix a few of the settings. But right now, when I do off, it's going counterclockwise. So I just got to switch out the code. But I want to just check if it's. I'm just gonna go ahead and. Oh boy. Let me go ahead and just check events. I'm gonna put a slider for the drum. case you want to see this part. So what you do, usually go to the events and then you go to sliders and then you can put a drum in. So serial command, and it'll usually be drum, that, and then squigglies. And then you could usually put that in. And then drum should come up. All right. I'm gonna switch to the camera so you can see it spin and slow down. Nope. Oh man, this is not working either now. Wait, what the hell? Oh, my stream deck just took a shit, so now I gotta fix that later. Oh my god. OBS. So I'm gonna control it now. Let me add this. This is full 90, it's supposed to be 96 RPM at full speed. It's kind of doing the opposite of what I want to do, so it's just, I gotta switch the code around. Let me fix that part. Let me add a window. I'm gonna move some things around. Okay. So you can kind of hear it at 1 right now. It's at 100%, but if I do 100%, it goes to 0. So it's just the inverse for some reason. I have to check out that drum handle code. Okay, right there. So if I put it to 0 or 100, it stops. So I'm gonna drop. You'll see me drop it down. You'll see it kind of the drum come back on. So I think it's because of the Osmo. Let me see if I can hook up my other. Actually, I think I can hook it up here. Hello. Does that one sound a little bit better? Okay. I don't know. Sorry. Does that work? Is that working now? I think I messed up when I decided to plug one more thing in at the last minute. Oh, okay, thank God. Yeah, yeah, I just unplugged it and plugged it back in. You know, that whole IT joke. Yeah. So right now, this is what the motor sounds like at 50% of 96 RPMs. Um, and then, yeah, it's totally the inverse, because if I put it to 1, or if I put it to 0, 0, it's at, full tilt. And then if I just go to like what it's, but maybe this is probably like 80%. God, that sounds terrible. It's like motor whine or something. But let's go ahead. We're just going to dump some beans in there and see how well it manages it. Let me make sure the door's locked. So I got some sample beans in here. We'll toss those in. We'll see what that sounds like. See if it could hold up to it. One of the hardest things for this motor to do is if you do it at a stop. So if I put it right there, right, or drop beans into it and then start it. And I think this is, yeah, this is about. So yeah, I'm gonna put like maybe up to 500 grams of beans in there and we'll see if it works. I'm gonna pour the whole bag in there. Fuck it. Let's see it struggle. It's probably gonna struggle real hard. Oh hey, it did. It worked. That's probably like, that's kind of fast though, 96. So I'm gonna slow it down. There's just like this weird whine that's coming from the motor that's gonna drive me crazy. But it's working. Yeah, I think that's what it is. Okay. Let me double check. So the whine could be from low PMW frequency. Maybe could increase the frequency in the code. I'll look into that. I'll be like, how would Crewless do it? So that would be in handle drum, right, Curlis? So like I would just... Before I go on a... Before I just go on a... Tell me. Before I go on a long search later for lunch. Apply PWM speeds, update protocol buffer. Okay. Oh, I wonder if I should just set the dir pin to low? So I could go the other direction? Right now it's going the wrong direction. I don't know. I wonder if that makes a difference. But then the PWM code. Yeah, I'm going to have to look that up too. I mean, it's working. It's just that noise. I'll have to mess around with it. But on the plus side, I know we can hook this motor up. We have to add a fan to it, right? Because these overheat like crazy. So, but right now it's working. I just got to figure out how to get rid of that whine, because right now it sounds like this on full, like 500 grams. But that's at 96 RPM. That's how it's kind of set up now. If I go any lower, like I wanted to be at like 50%. Oops, I'm spamming the crap out of chat. Whoops. Oh, okay. Oh, let me turn that off. That sounds terrible. Okay. Okay, so I have to do all that fun stuff. Void setup. Got me this. This is why vibe coding's the best coding. Let me see if I even have Arduino IDE on this laptop. Nope, I don't. I probably have to install that later. Okay. So, all right. So we installed it. So next thing I have to do is I'll have to put a fan and then tool off the motor. And that'll be like pretty much half of what a V2 is really. Honestly, it's the motor. A lot of people like the tablet. I'm not a fan of the tablet, but what else with the V2? V2 has Bluetooth, which you can get with ESP32 connected to the board, so that's fine. We could do that. Sorry, I'm just trying to think of all the things that's in a V2 that the V1 doesn't have. The biggest thing is the motor and the controller board. Oh, and the tablet. I already said that. So the motor's like 20 bucks. The mount, I have a few of those mounts still. I'm selling for like 30 or 4 bucks or 5 bucks. I forget how much they cost. 5 bucks, whatever the mount is. You guys could use them. Anything else I'm missing on the V2? What? There's something else that the V2 has, right? It has the fan built into the fan that's built into the back panel. That's another thing it has. But hold on, let me show you this real quick, because they are now, I think there's a lot of new V1 units out there with the updated back panel. switch that out. I want to show you the new back panels they've been sending some of the people on Artisan and Precision. Front, top. Okay, so let me just move all this junk out the way. So we did this. I'll come back to it later, put the fan in. I'm thinking about making a new 3D printed case so it just houses a fan. So, you know, I'll put like a blower that will just blow air upwards into there. So just print out a new little case and then just have it hooked up like this where it just blows air upwards towards the fan. We'll see if that works. If not, I'll figure a way to set up a blower inside here to make sure that this cools off. Let's pull this out. I'll show you what the new V1s are looking like. Okay. Put this bad boy on the floor. Okay. Ta-da! All right, so this is a V1, 100% a V1, but they updated the back panel with the V2 back panel. Because, you know, they're mass producing these. They don't want to keep making one of the same. So with this back panel, you still can't mount the fan inside it because there's no room. But what you can do is just make a bunch of holes and then put a fan right here, which like I did. And then, and if you look closely, let's get down a little bit. If you look close just enough, you can see the metal right back in there, and that's the heatsink. You can see the fins of the heatsink right there. So this kind of just blows directly onto it. So, you know, when I was used to modding it, I would put it right onto the heatsink. Now this one I think is just as good. So all you really need to do is get like a little drill bit. I think it's like a 3mm to 2.75mm drill bit, and you just follow up the lines, drill it through the holes, and you can just thread it in there, which I did. The thing I like about this one is if you can look at the vents aren't like capturing liquid anymore when it goes down. It's kind of letting it just fall. If you look at the other units, let's see if I have a panel somewhere. Oh, that's a V2. It's the V2. If we look at this panel, I'm just going to pull this out. See how this one, if you have liquid come down from here, it would just go right in here and lead itself all the way down to the controller board, and it would fry them. Then you would get an E1 code right away. It would mess up the whole thing because the pathway of the fluids come down from like here, drips through here, and then it would just go inside because the way that the vents are designed. But now with the new design of the vents, they just drip downwards. They don't get stuck and pulled in and then come inside. And to prevent it from going down this route, this has the little juice blockers now. I like to call them juice blockers. So those are all, I've just been recently seeing those come up on these new V1 units. So yeah, and it's a really super easy install. You just need like a 35mm fan, 35 by 35, I think. and just a M3 14 millimeter screws, and then it should just be just an easy quick drill part. You just need to get like the bit. You need to get that on Home Depot or Harbor Freight. I'm using Harbor Freight drills. I try to keep everything to where if I'm working on a modification, you can just use a regular old power drill, and bits you can get at like Home Depot or Harbor Freight. It's real simple stuff. I'm doing blowing air into it. So I'm blowing the sticker usually, if it's the sticker side, that's usually the side the air is going towards. So I'm blowing air onto the heatsink. Did it make weird noises for you? Okay. I just have to make some adjustments to the, like what Krilla said. Make adjustments to the code just so it's that there's not that high pitched squeal that you get, because I want to run it at that 50%, because this is at 96 RPM at full tilt. I want to drop it down to at least 50 RPMs because I think that's the sweet spot, so you prevent your beans from burning. But yeah, so I think that's all I really wanted to show you today. I'll do another video putting the fan in and then adding, what the hell else is on it? Oh, then I'm just putting high beam in, because high beam would be the equivalent of the V2 tablet, except I think high beam on a phone or a tablet is way better than the tablet. Yeah, the tablet's kind of, it's janky. But yeah, if you have if you know anything else I should add into the upgrade, I think that's basically it. Is it really just a drum motor? Yeah, I think it's just a drum motor. That's the biggest change in the V2 versus the V1. And then the controller board, obviously, but we can do everything either through Arduino Nano or, you know, an ESP32. I think that's it. I can't think of any other big modification. And the tablet. Well, that was the big thing. Everybody was crazy about the tablet, but I don't know. I think high beam tablets is a much better aesthetic to it. It saves your day. It saves all your roasts a lot better, and you could share your roast, which I think is really cool. Where the tablet is literally just a $35 tablet. That's kind of cheap and kind of janky. I don't know. Let's find out. You think they increased the diameter? Well, this is a V1. I have a V2 here. I have an old V1. I'm in the background right now. I guess I could flip the camera over to my old stream setup. Yes, there are V1s and V2s littered all over the place here. I need to sell them before my wife leaves me. So they're around like 70 millimeters on that V1. And this is the updated V1 using the V2 back panel, but it doesn't have the cutout for the extra USB port. Yeah, about 70, 69 point whatever. It's about 70 here. And I got a V2 open down here. Yeah, about the same, 70. It does. I wonder if they made the fan the blades more aggressive? I have no idea. They kind of look the same to me. Maybe because of the pictures are making them look bigger. But I know that's one of the biggest things a lot of people are complaining about is the fans just kind of suck. Not suck. They just suck. Yeah, they don't do a good job with airflow, right? But I think mostly it's what it's used for is just to take all the smoke out. But I know people like to get that like 5% of control, right? That you want to get to improve your roast. And that 5% control can affect the flavor from what, people are saying. Oh, we got a new fan. Um, what do you get? Like, did you just custom order one? I mean, I'm always down to experiment. Oh. Okay. I thought you meant like you custom ordered like a bigger one or something. Or smaller one or something. iTop store? Okay. Where we get all our parts from. Okay, yeah. What time is it? 11:22? That's good enough time. Fan and housing for $16. Did yours break? Oh, shipped to the. Oh, I mean, that's not bad, but because I know that's like a 99 cents motor or something. It feels like it's a really like cheap motor for the exhaust. Like super cheap. But I guess it does the job of extracting all the smoke, is what they really wanted it for, and kind of adjusting the temperature of the chamber. Okay. I definitely want to try other impeller options. The old fan mounts with 2 Did it really? I gotta find an old one. I don't think I ever noticed that. Let me try to find an old one. Let me try to find an ancient V1 I have somewhere. I'll look in the graveyard later. I didn't really realize that, but yeah. Well, God, they made all these like slow updates to it. Yeah, the original V1 was really the jankiest of all the models. But now they add cool things like past QC sticker. Look at that. This thing used to burn down your house in a New York minute. Now we get QC pass stickers. I have my cormorant somewhere. I gotta set that up. I want to do extreme on roasting with that one day. A gas roaster versus an electric roaster. Play with that. Anybody else have any questions, concerns, anything about the V1, V2 you want to know? The Discord's not like ran by the any of the vendors or anything like that. So you could talk as much shit about the V1 or V2 as you want. So don't feel like you have to love it. Oh, there's. Oh, sorry, I didn't check the YouTube chat. I keep forgetting to do that. I'm sorry, guys. Moved over here. Is the code or your wiring? Is it the code or wiring? It is the code. It's 100% the code, I believe. Are you using Artisan? I am using Artisan and testing a new drum motor from the V2 that we'll put into the V1. Where is the heat? Is it at the top of the V2 or below the drum, or how? Like where the heat comes out? When I did like a little what's it called? The FLIR scan, scanning the back and everything. Most of the heat is over here in this area. I call this the no plastic zone because I was going to try to put like a plastic venting system on here, but I think it would melt it. It gets up to like 200 and it gets pretty hot, like 220 degrees Celsius. If I have minimum, 230 degrees Celsius. Around this area. Well, because yeah, that's where all the heat comes out. There's still heat at the bottom, but not as much. Oh, we uploaded it. Where'd it go? Where'd it go? Dang, they really did. Why have I never thought of or seen that? That's crazy. So they used 2 micro screws before? You must have had like, you had like the OG edition. I didn't know they can. That's such a stupid setup. You just need 1 screw, but that's cool. I'm glad they gave you the parts though. Oh, I saw it. Math was. I mean the resistance where the heat generates. Like on the motor. But yeah, Mathis, I didn't even realize they put 2 screws on that mount. It's kind of silly. I remember a lot of them had issues where they would like wobble like crazy, and you'd have to adjust them. Otherwise, it sounded like it would just scrape the side of the exhaust port or the exhaust housing that they're in. Let me read some. Oh, on the motor body. Okay, so generally when I was doing, because I have a FLIR that I used to play with and see where all the heat is being generated at, and from what I gather, and doing tests like touching it and going, "Ow, that's hot," was usually like the body. Let me show you. I don't know if there's a picture here somewhere. All right, let me grab a motor. Oh shoot. Where is the drum motor? So I know the heat usually came out from like right here. And even on a V2, you could tell that they set it up to blow right at that body because it's the way it's mounted. Like that's the fan they use to cool it off right here. And that usually just blows upwards more to the left, hitting the black side of the body. So that's where most of the heat is at. And most of the time, that is where all like the original like brushed, not the brushless ones, but the brush warm drives. That's where like I would see most of like the heat affecting it and its ability to turn the drum. Like I'd used to like be mid roast after a back-to-back roast, and the motor would just die. I'd have to wait till for a few seconds for it to cool off, and then it would start again and it would run just fine. And and to the credit to the board actually the controller board actually prevents you from putting too many amps through the board. It has like a limiter, and that's when the E3 comes up. So if it reaches a certain amount of amps or current that's flowing through it, the board will actually like shut off the drum, and then it'll display E3. It's like an overcurrent detection. So you don't fry the board, because if you put way too much current through the board, through that port, it'll like, I'm pretty sure it'll smoke the board. These controller boards are really fragile. Yeah, they have the overcurrent on there just to make sure it doesn't put too much current through the board and like, I don't know, smoke traces. Because left to its own devices, it'll just keep pulling to maintain that RPM. The bottom ones, these beam, you have the external cooler, right? I know. I feel like they could just. Well, I guess that's what they're doing with the Q bean. Well, kind of. They're not putting it underneath anymore. It's just not a great external bean cooling design, or internal bean cooling design. It's okay at best. I feel like you get better results with the external one. I still use it because I kind of like having it all in one. And I'm gonna get my money's worth. That's why I keep the internal cooler. But I've had modified one where it has like the huge fan in the back, and it does cool it off really quick. It just looks absurd. Let me see if I could find that fan. I haven't played with that one in a while. But it has like a enormous like yeah, here's the fan that I was using to cool off the beans. So huge. I wonder if I could fit both of it and it just cools the whole back area. Yeah, this is what I was using to cool the beans, and a 3D printed shroud at the bottom, because the bottom of the half of this doesn't get too hot. It actually can tolerate ABS. It's the top part where there could be melting issues. But there was one guy who 3D printed like a whole venting system on it. He hasn't released the files. I think he probably wants to sell it or something, which is fine, I guess. But I don't know why it hasn't melted on top. Like, it should melt. It's only ABS. It can only tolerate like glass transition phases like what, 180C at most. Probably even lower. And I know this gets up more than 200C in this whole area. But I should ask him for the files and print it out myself. And I think with this unit that I'm using right now that I put the motor on, I'm going to add the PT100 on there too, and then an exhaust thermocouple on it. So instead of having like the environmental bean temperature, I want to have the a thermocouple in the back reading exhaust temperatures. I think I could do that better on the and I want to try it on Artisan versus like, I don't want to do too much to high beam because I know they're releasing their stuff and I don't want to change any of the code on there. So I'm gonna just mess with Artisan to do all the added extra thermocouple stuff. I had to send some stuff out today. I think I was supposed to send someone a PT100, and I had the front plate for it. I was supposed to send him it. I don't know who that was. I think that was MathWiz. I think that might have been you. I'm not sure. I can't remember. Somebody wanted that panel that they got in. They had an older unit. I pulled one out and I was gonna send it to them, but then I just got lost with the group buy stuff. Okay, good. Okay, let me I'm gonna try sending that because I have to send some other people stuff. Oh yeah, well for sure I'll get you that, give you that money, or I'll get you that stuff out. I just gotta find it again. I literally cleaned the whole place up, and I was like, oh, I have an extra one for that guy, and then it's somewhere here. And if you're using high beam, a lot of the code now is being handled by somebody else that actually has a degree in programming, so it's kind of nice. I don't want to mess with it anymore. Oh, and I also got these for people having bearing issues. I was able to buy quite a bunch of the bearings now, but they're pre-lubed with super lube, so you don't have to like clean them out. And because the factory lube, I wouldn't want to use. Like if you were to buy these bearings on Amazon, I don't know what kind of lube they're using, and they probably don't really withstand the temperatures that we use it at. So I ordered a few of these bearings from AliExpress. They're really nice and smooth, and they're full of. They're preloaded with what's that called? Super lube, the food edition one. I think it's like H1, HF1, HSF1, whatever, tolerant or compliant. So, yeah, if you want to buy some, let me know. So, in case your bearings come out, I got those, and then I still got the PT100s. I got to set up the guide for that. I'm going to set up the guide for this later when I get the code working on the drum. That's less noisy. Any other modification stuff? Oh, I think that's it. I still need to find a vendor for some bulbs, because I wanted to buy some near infrared ones. But I got a handle. I got like 1, 2, 3, 4. I got like 6 V1s that I need to unbox, put all the modifications on, and then sell them. Okay. But anyways, all right. So I'll let you know when the next stream is, when I do the other add-ons to it and the fan. But let me know if you have any questions. There's also this channel now that I set up. I'll leave it here. It's called the Streamlab channel for now. But if you have any questions or you want to see something done, because I don't want to keep just installing high beam and Artisan over and over again on stream. But if you want to see something else, you can go to the Streamlabs part of the server and then just leave kind of comment about what you want else do you want to see. Do you want to see a roast on high beam? Do you want to see how to install something? Do you want to, or even just troubleshoot? We could hop on the stream and I could help you troubleshoot your roaster if there's any issues. Or if you just want to talk, or if you're somebody that's running, if you're watching this video and you're one of the people that is running your coffee business, using a Skywalker as a production unit, can we hop on stream? Because I want to see how you're doing that. There's one guy that's doing like 100 pounds a month or something crazy like that. So if you are doing that, I want to know how you're doing that. If you're just doing 350 gram batches, or are you like doing the full 500 batches? I definitely want to know how you're doing that. And I would love to see your workflow. And if you're using like a between batch protocol, which I don't know how like it really affects our machine because it's infrared. So, because if it was a conduction roaster, we would be like, oh yeah, the metals of the drum have to be cooled and then heated up back so it could properly roast it. But I don't know if that really affects us in terms of IR. Like, do we really need a like the same type of between batch protocol as like a conduction roaster or convection? Let me see if anything else. I was wondering about that. Like, I was just reading stuff on it and listening to people, and they're like, "Oh, you need a between batch protocol, and it takes a little bit of time before you go to the next roast." I'm like, I don't know, but you're right. It's like there's minimal metal thickness. It's not very thick metal. We're not a conduction unit. We don't have to rely too much on the metals being the same heat or whatever. It's just the drum is our vehicle to agitate the beans, and all the heat is coming from the IR. So usually by the time I'm all done, like roasting, getting the beans out, and just setting like a preheat temperature on the V1 for a few minutes, I feel like that's good enough for me to set up for the next batch. So I don't have to like wait 20 or 15 or however people's between batch protocol is, cool down, heat up. I think what I usually do is if I do back to back, I'll just keep it at the charge temperature right after I dump all the beans out, I turn off, and then I make sure I cool that off, and then if it's in an external cooler, and then I'll just prep up the heat, maybe get it to like 198C or 200C, and then I think that's enough time for it to go right into the next roast. All right. That's why the heat BTUs from the exhaust is minimal. Okay. Yeah, it's always hard to talk with like other roasters about like going from a Skywalker to like Cormorant or a different kind of roaster because it's all the heat travels differently, right? So it's not like we can say what we're doing is working compared to another machine. Because I have people look at my stuff, like I have or their local roaster, I'll have to look at my like high beam stuff and like, oh, that's all kind of weird to me. Their temperatures are a lot lower for certain parts, especially with like first crack and stuff like that. I think the only bad part is like those hard set numbers. People like will read into it and they'll be like, it's not matching what I've been roasting with on a fluid bed or a older drum roaster or a B-more. So the Skywalker is terrible. It's like, no, 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 it's a totally different unit. You'd have to compare numbers with like maybe a different indirect or IR unit, infrared. But yeah. There's a lot of people that think like when you show them graphs, they think it should be a certain way. Even Rob Hoos brought that up. Like he doesn't like showing his graphs often on the internet or sharing them, not because it's like some trade secret, but it's just, you know, every roaster is kind of different, and people will provide you with constructive criticism, whether it was warranted or not. Oh, so you have a propane drum heater? I just got a propane drum heater. I got the Cormorant that I want to use, but I have no idea how to use it. Like I don't know how it's going to be different. I'm kind of interested to use it, but at the same time, I don't want to just melt the whole thing. Really nice. It's a really nice unit. It looks very pretty. I just haven't got a chance to roast with it and get accustomed to it. Really well built gas unit. You know, it was I had a great deal on the other Discord, the Special Aficionados Discord, and I was like, oh, it's only like it was only $681 shipped, and I was like, oh, I'll buy this for sure. It was cheaper than a V2, and it looks way better. I saw some people modifying theirs to have like a solenoid valve to control the gas, to control temperature with Artisan. So I might look into that. That or I just want to roast with it manually. I don't want to. Maybe I don't want to do that. It has a thermocouple that's already connected to an Arduino. It's the guy set up for me, or that's been set up for him. So I'm curious to see what that looks like. I should actually ask that guy when he put the code in, and is he like, how's he handling the thermocouple temperatures? Is he sampling it or not oversampling it? Is he oversampling it or is he smoothing it? But anyways, all right, I'm gonna head out. I'm going to go eat. I got an hour to do some work, and then I'm gonna clean up the house. But if you want to see anything else, let me know. We could try a stream next Tuesday, and then Thursday I'll probably do another one. All right, but if anything, this unit will go on sale. I'm gonna put it on Discord soon just to sell it. It'll come with Artisan and Artisan or Hyping, whichever unit you want, and I'll put the code in and all that stuff. All right, I'll see you later.